Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a beautiful day out there, because you know what time it is, you know what day it is, you already know what's happening. I mean, you've seen the title, but it is a long song Saturday, and for today, we are listening to Curtis Mayfield. We're going to listen to his debut album, Curtis, released in 1970. I didn't even check in the mirror to make sure my collar is correct. Yeah, so this is an album that I wanted to listen to. People may have suggested this, but to be honest, I didn't look. This is just one I chose. Sometimes I just want to explore stuff that I've wanted to explore. And today it is Curtis Mayfield with his debut album. So, with Curtis Mayfield, obviously I have heard his name, and there's a strong possibility that I have heard some of his music before, as it is the genre of music that I grew up around. But I cannot say for certainty that I have heard something from him. In my dad's record collection growing up, because he's always had his record collection, I've always seen the cover for Curtis' album Superfly, but I don't think I don't know. It's very possible I've heard Superfly, but I don't know if I have. And I do know that is a very popular track and album, but that ain't what we're doing today. We're doing the debut album. I want to hear his first independent album here. So that's what we're going to do. Settle in for a long song Saturday. Hope that you guys are doing well. As you can see, it's 8:24 in the morning right now. It's beautiful, sunny. I have my light here, but I don't even need it. It's beautiful and sunny. I love the warm tones. Put a little shirt on. It's going to be a great day. So hopefully this is a good way to start it for you guys, or even if it's at night, maybe this is a great way to put you down in a good way, put you down to bed, not put you down. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Of course, before we do that, if you don't mind, just press the like button. It helps a great deal getting the channel and recommending videos out to other people who may not have seen the channel or videos before. And if you want, you can also subscribe if you haven't already. And you can also support the channel and what I do on Patreon for as little as $2 a month, as it does help me in doing these full album listens, in which I don't make any sort of income from it. So that's it. That's my intro splurge, whatever you want to call it. Let's go ahead and get into it with the first track here, which I gotta tell you, I don't know the track, but it's a great title. Don't worry, if there's a hell below, we're all going to it, or going to go. That's the kind of song title, you see it and you gotta hear what it sounds like. So let's do so.
Last night I was so depressed, and I went and got the Bible, and I turned to the book of Revelation. And if people would just get and read the Bible and read the book of Revelations, they would really turn around and straighten up.
Is this Aphrodite's Child?
This is all we need to do, is just get the good book and read it, put it to everyday life.
Sisters, niggas, whiteys, Jews, crackers,
Calling everybody.
don't worry. If there's hell below, we're all gonna go.
That is a way to open it up. That funky guitar.
Sisters, brothers and the whiteys, blacks and the crackers, police and their backers, they're all political actors. Hurry, Just no one is willing. Kinda make you get that feeling. Everybody's smart.
Sensational drumming.
Use the pill and the dope. Educated fools from uneducated schools. Pimping people is the rule. Polluted water in the food. And Nixon talking about don't worry. He said don't worry. He said don't worry. He said don't worry. But they don't know there can be no show. And if there's hell below, we're all gonna go. Everybody praying
Like a funky psychedelic
and
kind of sound to
everybody
it.
saying, but when come time to do, everybody's laying, just talking about don't worry. They say don't worry. They say don't worry. They say don't worry.
There's that break. Love that bass.
Sisters, brothers and the whitest, blacks and the crackers, police and their backers, they're all political actors. Smoke, the pill and the dope, educated fools from uneducated schools. Pimping people is the rule. Polluted water in the food. And everybody's saying don't worry. They say don't worry. They say don't worry. They say don't worry. But they don't know
Love those drum breaks.
there can be no show. And if there's hell below, we're all gonna go. Lord, what we're gonna do.
Love how the strings arise in that moment with the rising horns. Like it just brews up.
Tell me what we're gonna do. If everything I say is true, this ain't no way at all be. If only all the mass could see. But they keep talking about don't worry. They say don't worry. They say don't worry. They say don't worry.
There's that storm. Coming back for a quick little jam. I mean, like I said, with a title like that, the music has to follow, the music has to toe behind it, something with substance, something with that extra little oomph. And in this track, you open up with that big old oomph. This is funky down to its core. This has a kind of psychedelic feel to it as well. I mean, the opening with the spoken word and then with the way that Curtis is shouting before it actually lends itself and goes into the track itself. I don't know, there's something to me kind of psychedelic funk about it. So I was looking up while I was listening to find like who's playing what, who's the drummer, who's the guitarist, who's this and that. And while it lists all the musicians, it doesn't tell me who's playing what. So throughout the album listen, I unfortunately, like I usually do, I can't tell you what actual member is playing what instrument. All I can say is Curtis is singing. So I apologize that I can't use names to actually give credit where credit is due. Obviously, Curtis himself is singing with such urgency, of course, in lieu of the lyrics as well, but he's singing with a message. This is a song with funk. It has a great rhythm, but it has a lot of heart in that rhythm. It gets you moving, but it also gets you thinking a little bit. And I really like the way that Curtis composes and pulls this off. The drumming I thought was sensational. I really like those tight fills at the end of each of the breaks. The string arrangements and the horns as they would rise and surround everything was just a very inspirational and motivational moment every time they came around, because it was that extra push musically to really take that message and give it wings to our ears as the listeners. The funky guitar in there, of course, the bass line, which is going to be a staple. Like, everything comes together very well, of course, but it's the overall composition of it all and those strings and horns when they come in. I think that kind of makes this track what it is. But that is only 50% because I think the lyrics are also very important in here as well. So in the beginning, you have a spoken word. Last night I was so depressed, I went and got the Bible. And I turned to the book of Revelations, and if people would just get and read their Bible, read the book of Revelations, they would really turn around and straighten up. This is all we need to do. And then Curtis comes in and he says, sisters, brothers, whiteys, Jews, crackers, don't worry, if there's a hell below, we're all gonna go. What I really like about that intro there is that he uses like, what's the word? He doesn't just say black people, white people, Jewish people, Indian people. Like, he doesn't just say people and their races, we all need to basically come together. But he uses the most, what's the word? Like the lowest derogatory way of saying that. But he's not doing it in a, of course, attacking or offensive way. He's doing it like from, like, I'm low just as anyone else, from the lowest of the low, like, we're all down here suffering together. So instead of fighting each other, we need to work together from the bottom and work all of our ways up to the top. We need to rise and bring each other up. So I like that way that he kind of calls out this unification to everybody. And he says, sisters, brothers and the whiteys, blacks and the crackers, please send their backers. They're all political actors. Hurry, people running from their worries while the judge and his juries dictate the law that's partly flawed. Everybody smoke, use the pill and the dope, educated fools from uneducated schools. Pimping people is the rule, polluted water in the pool. And Nixon talking about don't worry, he say don't worry, but they don't know there can be no show, and if there's hell below, we're all gonna go. So, like, there's all these issues, and here specifically he's talking obviously something political, but also racial, right? Like we said in the beginning. So, he's saying, of course, like, yeah, we all need to really come together because it's all of us. And he uses, like I said, the simplest, in a sense, demeaning words in some cases, but bringing it in a different way as a rallying call, I guess you could say. They just say, don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, because, everybody's saying, don't worry, but there's actual issues. And I think the title ties into this so well. If there's a hell below, we're all going to go. Lord, what we going to do? Like, if we don't fix this mess, if we don't turn ourselves around, all of us together, it's only going to go down. It's only going to go bad. That's a great first track. That's a really good opening track. Let's move on to the next one here, which is going to be The Other Side of Town. Here we go. Some Heart of the Civics.
from the other side of town, out of bounds to anybody who don't live around. I never learned to share or how to care. I never had no teachings about being fair. Depression is part of my mind. The sun never shines on the other side of town. The need here is always for more. There's nothing good in store on the other side of town. It's hard to do right in this filthy night. Just plain simple comfort is completely out of sight. My little sister, she hungry for bread to eat. My brother's hand-me-down shoes is now showing his feet. Ghetto blues shown on the news. All is well, but what the hell do they care? You across the track, completely relaxed. You take a warning fact, don't you never come back. I'm from the other side of town, out of bounds to anybody who don't live around. I never learned to share or how to care. I never had no teachings about being fair. Depression is part of my mind. The sun never shines on the other side of town.
Island coming through just like that.
The need here is always for more. There's nothing good in store on the other side of town. Oh, baby, it's hard to do right, you know, on the other side of town.
I love the percussionist and how he's playing with the snare from the drummer. I wasn't even paying attention at the time. Man, I got lost in that one. I wasn't even paying attention to the time because when they were going off at the end, I was like, okay. One thing I was really listening to at the very end there, the percussionist, whoever that may be, I really like what he's adding to the rhythm at the very end, especially with how the drummer's snare sounds and the rhythm that they're playing. There's every time the drummer hits the snare, the percussionist hits whatever he's hitting. And I don't know, it's going to be production and of course the type of drum, snare, and whatever percussion he's playing. But there's a certain kind of like impact in there that I really just like the sound of it. It has like this snappy kind of sound. It's not thick. It's not a deeply produced sound. There's a thinness to it, but I actually think it makes it very effective in this track, which has a lot of airy elements to it. The melody in here is just ever so elegant and graceful. It is warm. It is touching. It has a slight romantic tinge to it. But at the end of the day, this is once again a very deeply well tracked in activism and a message trying to get that out there. And I think it's in some ways very relatable. You know, I don't know about you, but over here, we've always had the phrase, you know, oh, the other side of town, the other side of the tracks. Oh, you don't go here after 7 or, you know, like that kind of thing. And I love the perspective that we get here. I love how he's speaking about, I'm sure from personal experience, of maybe not being in the greatest part of town and growing up and the things that he had to go through and the suffering that he had to go through and the different issues that came from that. And people still going through that, of course. Like, I just really like the message that he brings into the music. And obviously the music is a beautiful vehicle for this message. And it could, I mean, I'm going off on a tangent here. He could, or anyone, of course, could go to a more simplistic meaning. For example, a lot of folk, maybe it'll just have an acoustic guitar and a singer who's singing a similar thing with strong lyrics. But I think that the arrangement that he brings into this just further allows that message to fly even further in some ways. Like I said, the melodies in here are fantastic. The string and the horns, I mean, the way that they just ride with each other in here are just absolutely wonderful. This is a track that has a very stable inhale and exhale kind of composition in the way that it rises and falls. And Curtis is there to just softly nudge us along the way as it goes. I mean, this is good. This is really good. I'm from the other side of town, out of bounds to anybody who don't live around. I never learned to share or how to care. I never had no teachings about being fair. Depression is part of my mind. The sun never shine on the other side of town. The need here is always for more. There's nothing good in store on the other side of town. It's hard to do right in this filthy night. Just plain simple comfort is completely out of sight. My little sister, she hungry for bread to eat. My brother's hand-me-down shoes is now showing his feet. So obviously the poverty that's happening here and the things that he had to grow up with sharing or, struggling for food. Never learning how to share because you didn't have enough to share. Ghetto blues showed on the news. All is aware, but what the hell do they care? You across the track, completely relaxed. You take a warning fact, don't you never come back. So yeah, it showed on the news, we need to do this, we need to help this. But then on the other side of town, everyone's relaxed. So it's like, I'm good, they can take care of themselves. It's that kind of, what's the word? Not selfishness that I'm thinking, it's ignoring, I guess. There's a stronger word, I can't think of it, but like just ignoring the problem and it'll go away. Oh, baby, it's hard to do right, on the other side of town. This depression really got a hold on me on the other side of town. Once again, really strong music here. Let's go on to the next track here, which is going to be The Makings of You. Here we go. Almost a carnival-ish kind of theme. A waltz.
Add a little sugar,
That's love.
Suckle and a great big expression of happiness. Boy, you couldn't miss with a dozen roses. Such would astound you. The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. It is true, the makings of you. The righteous way to go, little one would know or believe if I told them so. You're second to none, the love of all mankind should reflect some sign of these words I've tried to recite. They are close but not quite, almost impossible to do, reciting the makings of you.
I like how we switch back into the waltz with this harp.
The righteous way to go, little one would know or believe if I told them so. You're second to none, the love of all mankind should reflect some sign of these words I've tried to recite. They are close but not quite, almost impossible reciting the makings of you.
I love when it switches to that waltz. That is beautiful. I mean, find someone in life that sings to you, writes to you, speaks to you, or thinks of you in the same way that Curtis is speaking, singing, and thinking of whoever he's talking about. Because this is pure love. The harpist, whoever is playing harp in here, is absolutely wonderful in here. I love the waltz rhythm that it opens up with, and then it moves into a standard 4/4 with a quiet, beautifully sensual groove. Curtis is just singing his romantic heart out. I love the the makings of you, like singing in that soulful falsetto-y, almost whispery. Like there's just that is just love, singing right into your ear. That is absolutely romantic. Once again, I have to say, the strings enveloping you, hugging you like your loved one, just giving you a big old embrace. That's what that feels like. I love how soft the drumming and percussion is in this track, and it is just that harp is just lovely, and the constant switching back and forth between the waltz and the standard is a really nice touch as well. When it first happened, it threw me off for a second. I was like, oh, where's this going? Because the snare change, I was following it, and I'm like, okay, I'm following it, but then I caught on to what Curtis was throwing down. And I love the way that he describes this, and even as he's singing this romantic track, there's still like he still inserts just one line to still get a little bit of a message out there as well. Add a little sugar, honeysuckle, and a great big expression of happiness. Boy, you couldn't miss with a dozen roses. Such would astound you. The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. It is true, the makings of you. A little sugar, a little spice, a little everything nice, and a little chemical Lex. Like, I love how he's describing the ingredients that makes this person as beautiful as they are, from, sugar, honeysuckle, expression of happiness, but even something a little bit more abstract when he says the joy of children laughing around you. Like, this person is just so magnetic and charismatic that even children are laughing and playing around them. Like, it's just a joy to be around this person. The righteous way to go, little one would know, or believe if I told them so, you're second to none. And this is what I'm getting at. The love of all mankind should reflect some sign of these words I've tried to recite. They are close, but not quite. Almost impossible to do, reciting the makings of you. So that's where he kind of sneaks in a little part of his message there. But at the same time, not losing touch with this being a love song. He says, like, all mankind should, have some part of how beautiful you are, but we don't. Like, so there's your little message, like, we still need to work harder and, like, be more loving, etc. But also, man, you're just so far above everyone else. You are just everything. And then he repeats those words from there. That's good. That's a good love song. I love the way that he wrote that down. Put it in a cookbook. Put that recipe in a cookbook. Let's move on to the final track here on the first side of the album, which is going to be We the People Who Are Darker Than Blue. Let's go. See how it breathes? See?
We people who are darker than blue, are we gonna stand around this town and let what others say come true? We're just good for nothing, they all figure. A boyish grown-up shiftless jigger. Now we can't hardly stand for that. Or is that really where it's at? We people who are darker than blue, this ain't no time for segregating.
That horn melody.
I'm talking about brown and yellow too.
Everybody.
Hi, yellow girl, can you tell? You're just the surface of our dark, deep well. If your mind could really see, you know your color is same as me. Pardon me, brother, as you stand in your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell the whole story.
I love the way he sings. Oh, that charge came in. He said, let me tell my story. We're about to get it. That bass came through. Everything just coming up.
Shall we commit our own genocide before you check out your mind? I know we've all got problems. That's why I'm here to say, keep peace with me and I with you. Let me love in my own way.
I love how this jam just like erupted. This is like a mini epic.
Now I know we have great respect for the sister and mother. It's even better yet. But there's the joker in the street, loving one brother and killing the other. When the time comes and we are really free, there'll be no brothers left, you see. We people who are darker than blue, don't let us hang around this town and let whatever say come true. We're just good for nothing, they all figure. A boyish grown-up shiftless jigger. Now we can't hardly stand for that. Or is that really where it's at? Pardon me, brother, while you stand in your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell the whole story. Pardon me, brother, I know we've come a long, long way, but let us not be so satisfied. For tomorrow,
Great line. That's a good
can
line.
be an even brighter day.
man, what a great album this is so far. This is basically a 6-minute epic. It has different changes, all of the breaks that happen in here. This is really really sensational. I don't even know where to begin. You know what I really like? That obviously in this album, a lot of what he's talking about is civil rights and specifically with African Americans, right? But I really like how from the first track and in this one, he includes everybody. Yeah, while the struggle in that he's talking about that he has experience with is for African Americans, I love how like he's bringing in everybody in here because it's everybody that's involved. I don't even know where to begin with this track. We basically have 3 parts in this track. That break though, where it totally stops everything and we basically restart the music. Percussion coming in, drums coming in, the bass coming in. Like everything starts to come in hot, guitar sneaks in, and then like it just explodes. And I like how before that moment lyrically, actually, you know what? This all kind of works together lyrically. Let's kind of do it all at the same time. All right. We people who are darker than blue, are we going to stand around this town and let what others say come true? We're just good for nothing, they all figure, a boyish grown-up shiftless jigger. Now we can't hardly stand for that, or is that really where it's at? Like, okay, everyone's saying we're this, we need to prove ourselves and be better than that because we don't want to be that, right? I like the title of the track, I guess, but also the first line, we people who are darker than blue. Yes, that could be black, but also that blue, color of sadness, depression, like darker than blue. Even more depressed, even more sad than blue. Like, what's the next color? Here, it's black. I just, that is such a great thought-provoking song title, just like the opening, but also the way that it's put into the music. And if the following lyrics weren't as strong, that title and that message may get a little bit lost. Here, it's not. It's emphasized. We people who are darker than blue, this ain't no time for segregating. And here he goes. I'm talking about brown and yellow too. Hi, yellow gal, can't you tell? We're just the surface of our dark, deep well. If your mind could really see, you'd know your color the same as me. Pardon me, brother, as you stand in your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell you the whole story. So obviously I'm assuming with the, yellow, he's mentioning Asian. And he says, you're just the surface of our dark. Like, we're all in different shades of a civil unrest and of bias and racial segregation. We're all in different levels, and we all need to work together to bring ourselves to equality. And I love the line at the end where he says, pardon me, brother, as you stand in your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell you if I tell the whole story. Like, yes, some people, specifically here, some black people, Asian people, of course, people that have been downtrodden at some point in history in America, some have gotten out of that proverbial well that he's speaking of and have achieved great things. And I like how he acknowledges that when he says, pardon me, brother, as you stand in your glory. But he also says, I'm glad that you made it. But let me tell my story, and perhaps all of us can achieve this glory together in equality. And that, like I said, is when the music changes and it hits that break where the music stops. So it's so perfect that he says, pardon me, let me tell me my story. And then the music stops and he's telling his story. And the music there becomes much more, like I said, instrumentally, it's fun. It's a jam how all the instruments start to pile up in each other. But if you want to take it in the themes of the music, it's a story of starting unrest, but then eventually coming into something that can perhaps make change, something very powerful. I think that is really, really awesome. Get yourself together, learn to know your signs. Shall we commit our own genocide before you check out your mind? I know we've got our problems. That's why I'm here to say, keep peace with me and I with you. Let me love in my own way. Let's not fight each other. Now I know we have a great respect for the sister and mother. It's even better yet. But there's the joker in the street, loving one brother and killing the other. When the time comes and we are really free, there'll be no brothers left, you see. I kind of view that as 2 ways. When the time comes and we are really free, there'll be no brothers left, you see. That could be because of this kind of genocide that he's talking about, and there's literally no brothers left. Or he actually could mean the opposite way, that unification has happened and we're past brothers, sisters, this and that, because we're all just unified. I don't know. I think you can kind of take that both ways. And then this next verse repeats itself, but the final verse, He repeats what he said before the break. Pardon me, brother, while you stand in your glory, I know you won't mind if I tell you the whole story. Pardon me, brother, I know we've come a long way, once again, acknowledging progress, but let us not be so satisfied, for tomorrow can be an even brighter day. That's a good line. We've made a lot of progress. I acknowledge that, and I'm happy about that. But let's not stop there. Let's keep going, because even tomorrow can be brighter. That's good, guys. That is sensational. That is sensational. Let's go ahead and move on into the next track here, the following side of the album, which is going to be Move On Up. And that just makes me think of Good Times, which is a great show. All right, what's your... Because I always do like the question in the middle of the video to see who's still watching, and you can comment with your answer and then continue on. What... I should do a video. Favorite TV theme songs. Good Times is up there. Three's Company is up there. I don't know. Those are the ones that immediately come to mind. Pokemon's up there. All right, so let's move on to the next side of the album, starting with Move On Up. Here we go, guys. Okay, I haven't heard this song, but I've heard it because... Who used this? Kanye West used this.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you.
It's a great track, though.
By and by, just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complication.
Fast snares.
Bite your lip and take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up for peace you'll find. Into the steeple
Question is, Congas is going.
where there's only one kind. So hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Move on up and keep on wishing. Remember your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing. Take nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey, you must be forsake, but you can pass the test. Just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it. Just move on up. Move on up. We move on up. Watch out, we just move on up. We move on up. Move on up.
I love how fast and upbeat this is. Just pushing. do a cool cover of this track probably. A true drum break, huh? I love that when the elements start being added in. I got a melody is just so calm but inspirational and moving before the horns get in there. I like how we get a little solo there too. Percussionist. Get down. You know everybody's jamming on this track. That guitar is super subtle in the background. I feel like this would be the song to end the concert as the band is just riding this out. The crowd is going wild. Okay, I haven't heard this song, but I'm familiar with that main melody because Kanye West used that in Touch the Sky off of one of his albums. Late Registration, maybe? I can't remember, but great album. Okay. It's an infectious, catchy, stick it in your ear, twist it in there, a Q-tip will never reach it, kind of earworm of a melody of a track. Ba 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 da da ba da da. That is just absolutely infectious. That is that. You're gonna be humming that. You're gonna be humming that at some point later on today. It is a wonderful melody. The horns are so bombast. I love musically how it's so motivational and so inspirational, and the music is just capturing that idea completely. It makes you want to reach and touch the sky. I like how the extended jam takes up like most of this track. I would say, I don't know, maybe about 5 minutes or so. Now, question, did you guys feel like the extended jam went on too long? Did you feel like the song needed to end maybe a little bit sooner or so? I'm of two minds, if I'm being honest. On one hand, if I was out there live watching the band performing this track, I'm 100% cool listening to it 8 minutes, 9 minutes. It could probably stretch on until like 12. And I'd be cool with it because the band is jamming. It's such a cool melody. There's a lot of room for improvisation, you got solos in here. You got sax, you got some guitar. Like, you had some moments of soloing, the drums, of course, and the way that, once again, we had that start from the bottom and bring it up here, adding more instruments as it goes. But in a live setting, there's just so much room for soloing and improvisation that I would love it. It could go on longer. In a studio cut, I don't mind it, to be honest. You thought I was going to say opposite? No, it's cool with me. I like it. It's fun. I maybe wish that Curtis sang like one more verse or like at the very end just to wrap it up in a neat little bow. But it doesn't need it. That's just me being, bow or not, the same gift is inside. And this track is a gift with everything that, it's a great track. I see that there was a single version released at 2 minutes and 53 seconds. That's a little too short. I can understand how this one might be a little long in the tooth, but I think 3 minutes is just a little short. Maybe give it like 3:49 if I'm being specific. It says that the edited version spent 10 weeks in the top 50 on the UK singles chart, peaking at number 12. And let me see, hold on. I guess there's a bunch of different remix versions of this by different bands. The Jam apparently also had released a version of this particular track, as well as the Style Council. That's kind of cool. Let's get to these lyrics here, though. Hush now, child, and don't you cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination, though you may find from time to time complication. Bite your lip and take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead, you cannot slip. Just move on up the peace you'll find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So this is truly a reach for your goals, achieve your dreams, keep on moving, keep on pushing, don't let anything stop you. The road may be wet, but you're not going to slip up. You're going to hit the top. Just keep on moving. And with music like this, how much more inspiration do you need? Take nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey rumors people say, for you can pass the test. Like, don't allow naysayers to bring you down. You got this, kid. You got this, kid. You got it. Just move on up to a greater day with just a little faith. If you put your mind to it, you can surely do it. Let's move on into the next track here, guys, which is going to be Miss Black America. Here we go.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, baby. How's my love child?
Fine.
Tell me, of all your dreams, what most do you hope to be when you become a big girl?
Daddy, I would like to be Miss Black America.
Nice stepping.
Hurriedly stepping so proud. Mother Nature's only godchild. Society salutes you today, and we'd like to say, God bless Miss Black America. Watch over Miss Black America. She cried tears of success. We wish her long
Isn't that bass
happiness. America. Sisters, we're all so very proud of that natural look we see among the crowd. Worldwide admiration from nation to nation. They love you, Miss Black America. We love you too, Miss Black America. You're such wonderful people and so beautifully equal. Black America.
Great drummer, whoever's playing on the album. It's a great bass line.
A culture no one can deny. If a young child should ask, then tell them why. They should not be ashamed of their past. Just explain the true mother is Black America. None other than Miss Black America. She cried tears of success. We wish her long happiness. Black America.
Put me down. I would love to know who's playing.
Miss Black America. We're so proud of you, Miss Black America. Ooh, Miss Black America. I'm so proud, I'm so proud. Miss Black America. Miss Black America. Miss Black America.
Man, the band is just getting down so hard. I really wish I knew who was playing what. I don't know, so don't quote me on this because there's a lot of musicians on the album, so it could be one of those things where, you know, there may be a basis for this track or this track, but it's a different one for the next. But perhaps on this one, you may have Phil Upchurch on the bass playing here, and he's played with a lot of different people besides Curtis Mayfield, Stan Getz, B.B. King, Dizzy Gillespie, Salt Peanuts. But like, you have like great talent here. And in this track, the bass line is sensational. In that little moment in kind of the break where the horns are really going at it, to me, it's almost like the bassist is having a little bit of a moment for a solo in there. And the playing is just so wonderful to listen to. I'd love to hear like that bass pushed up production wise just a little bit more because it's just really strong the way that the bass is going. Obviously the drumming is really fantastic while I'm listening to it all. And I like how, once again, this track captures a certain inspirational message and a tone. Obviously, Black women in America were a very marginalized group, especially during the Civil Rights era. And I like how this track is an ode to them. Like, you're not forgotten either, you know? And this is just about Miss Black America. And I think that that's wonderful. It sounds absolutely sensational. I mean, it's just a good album, guys. I mean, what else do you want? So it begins with Curtis speaking to who would I only presume, his daughter. Hello, Daddy. Hello, baby. How is my love child? Fine. Tell me all your dreams. What most do you hope to be when you become a big girl? Daddy, I would like to be Miss Black America. And then the music just jumps into it. I'm about to choke. Excuse me. Hurrying, stepping so proud, Mother Nature's only godchild. Society salutes you today, and we'd like to say, God bless Miss Black America. Watch over Miss Black America. She cries tears of success. We wish her long happiness. Sisters, we're also very proud of that natural look we see among the crowd. Worldwide admiration from nation to nation. A culture no one can deny. If a young child should ask, then tell them why. They should not be ashamed of their past. Just explain the true mother is Black America, none other than Miss Black America. Just a really beautiful track. I like how, once again, he's not leaving anyone out. He's tossing everyone in here, and he specifies, like I said, because of, you know, I'm imagining his upbringing, the places that he grew up in and everything, but this is everybody together. This is good. This is nice. Let's move on into the next track, which is Wild and Free. Those horns blew in, huh? Horns are blowing.
Respect for the steeple. Power to the people. Setting down the old crew. Bringing in the brand new. Wild and free. With peace finally. Wild and free is the way I want my life. Nature's way for me, without pain and strife. Fighting what is wrong.
Love how the harp came in with that sustained string note.
But respect for everybody's right could be really out of sight. Our great obligations would not be bad situations if the young would be listened to. But what they really know is true. Respect for the steeple. Power to the people. The old people worry about me, 'cause I'm so wild and free. Wild and free is the way I wanna be. Making a new day, leading in a new way. Respect for the steeple, power to the people.
I was looking again, but I really wish I could find more information on who's playing what and who's doing what, because I'm really interested in who's handling the orchestral arrangements with the strings, the brass, and I like to see like insight in like what background that particular person has into the music industry and what else they've worked with. And I'm sure obviously Mayfield had a hand in it. I just don't know how much of a hand, with that kind of thing. But I love the way that they work with the musicians here. I love the, like, for example, obviously the very strong horns in this track. The brass is blowing, along with those beautifully sustained notes from the strings. And then the harp, once again, making a few returns in certain moments. And specifically, there's a moment where the harp comes in with a flutter, if you will, with a sustained string note, that it exuberates a certain sort of happiness. It exuberates when you see someone that you love and your heart takes that extra beat. Or, I don't know, you got some extra bonus pay in your paycheck and your heart takes an extra beat. Like, it's that moment of happiness, that spark, that particular quick second that just elates you for a short period of time. And that's what I kind of felt like listening to that when the harp and the string came in. And then I really, really like the drumming and the percussion here. And when it comes to the production side of things with that specifically, what I noticed is that the percussion is, as usual, behind the drum set, but the percussion also has this kind of echo on it, but it's a natural echo, like the percussion is recorded in a bigger room so that it has a little bit more room to expand with the sound. And that kind of gives an interesting rounded effect behind the drum set. Not a surrounding kind of effect, but it does add a little bit of depth, a little bit of room. And if you will, it kind of puts us into the studio a little bit more, which I really enjoy how that's done. Wild and free is the way I want to be, making a new day, leading in a new way. Respect for the steeple, power to the people, setting down the old crew, bringing in the brand new. Wild and free with peace finally. And obviously this track has a very festive, celebratory feeling and vibe to it, which definitely makes sense with what he's saying, wild and free, finally, wild and free, like finally we made it. And it's a celebration for it. Wild and free is the way I want my life. Nature's way for me without pain and strife. Fighting what is wrong across the world as well as home, but respect for everybody's right could really be out of sight, right? Right? We just need a little respect. But our great obligations would not be mad situations if the young would be listened to for what they really know is true. Respect for the steeple, power to the people, setting down the old crew. And he ends right there, but we know what follows, bringing in the new here. Says that this is a song that expresses a desire for a life untethered and unconstrained by societal norms and expectations. Getting rid of the old, bringing in the new. Let's move on to the final track of the album, which is Give It Up. What are we giving up? About to find out. I pressed the wrong button. Here we go. A slower track for us.
It is my theory, the two of us are somewhat leery about the happiness we both set out to possess. We've got all the comforts of life, a few kids, and you are my wife. And to tell it like it is, I must confess, I'm gonna have to give it up.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to give it up.
Powerful.
All concern and the trust that never happened with us. The warmth of embraces and the love of our faces. It never happened, you see. And I'm so
This is a sad song.
sorry. I really truly love you. And the kids, you must agree. And I never had too much concern or interest in astrology. But as I read, it must be so, the invulnerable word, incompatible. No matter how much we try,
Okay.
our indifference would still show. Now we've got to give it up.
Those strings are so harsh
I'm
and
gonna
rough.
have to give it up. All concern and
How
trust
softens there.
that never happened with us. The warmth of embraces and the love of our faces. It never happened, you see. And I'm so sorry. Now we've got to give it up. Ooh, child, I got to give it up. Lord have mercy. Now I got to give it up. Ooh, I gotta give it up. All concern and trust
That moment is so good.
that never happened with us. The warmth of embraces and the love of our faces. It never happened, you see. And I'm so sorry, but now we've got to give it up. What am I to do? Child, I got to give it up. I'll be so lonely without you, but now I got to give it up. Lord, forgive me. Ooh, I got to give it up. Oh, now I got to give it up. Gonna have to give it up.
I gotta say, it is very, very interesting to me that throughout this whole album, it's been inspirational, motivational, progress, talking about, poverty and rising up from it, racial biases, rising up from it, like all these different things. And then, especially based off of the last track, which was very festive and moving, that we end the album talking about a relationship that is about to be thrown away. This is it. And I like how, at least for me on a first listen, it kind of tricks me because like it sounds romantic. It's beautifully mellow and soft. And then the first like few lines, I maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, but it is my theory the two of us are somewhat leery about the happiness we both set out to possess. We've got all the comforts of life, a few kids, and you are my wife. And I'm like, okay, there's issues sometimes. Sure, I think we're going to talk it up. And he says, I tell it like it is. I must confess, I'm going to have to give it up. And then the way the music just blasts at that moment with like the horns come out and it's like the truth coming out, right? It's like, I admit it, I'm sorry, but this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be. Got to give it up. And at first I thought, okay, I see those lines. Maybe there's going to be some sort of twist. Maybe there's a reason, like a reasonable reason. There's something happening. Who knows? But no, this is just at the bottom level of a crumbling relationship, and it's all about to come down. That's it. That's all it is. But the moment that it keeps on coming back to in that chorus, right after that explosive trumpet moment, is that soft way that it mellows out. That's kind of, to me, the realization and I guess the aftermath of that crumbling castle, if I could quote the King Gizzard, right? Like, that's that moment of truth. I'm going to have to give it up. Everything blows up. And then after the dust has settled, then it gets into that softer moment where we just got to talk it out now. We just got to do our thing. I'm sorry, but this is how it is. That is really, really interesting to have this theme after everything else to end the album, but it sounds so good, doesn't it? Right? Once again, it sounds really, really good. I love the timpani that's brought in as well, alongside of the drums and everything. I mean, the usual stuff. But man, just putting it down. Concern and the trust, that never happened with us. The warmth of embraces, the love on our faces, it never happened. And I'm so sorry. So I like that there's nothing necessarily, no one to blame. There doesn't necessarily seem to be like an issue, like anyone cheated or anything like that. It's just, it never happened with us. That thing that everyone talks about, it just never happened. And he even said, I'm so sorry. So I like that this is an honest look and an honest view of self and us. I really truly love you and the kids, you must agree. I never had too much concern or interest in astrology, but as I read it must be so, the invulnerable word incompatible. No matter how much we try, our indifference would still show. And he just repeats from there. Just got to give it up. I love the way that he wrote it. Just like I said, very honest. It's very realistic. And that is the end of the album. It's a great song. It's just, I don't know why. That took me for a loop. Like, man, we just ended like that, huh? Especially after Wild and Free, which is so like celebratory. All right, favorite tracks on the album. Easily Move On Up is going to be my favorite track. And after that, I'm going with The Makings of You. I think that is incredibly sweet. I love the movements of everything, the inhale, exhale, the careless whisperings, the romantic. I really think that is sensational. So after Move On Up and then The Makings of You, I probably think the first track, If There's a Hell, We're All Going to It, are my favorites here on the album. But it's not about me. It's about us. And I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to the album as well with me. I hope that you enjoyed the music. Of course, please let me know your thoughts. Spill them out in the comments down below. If you didn't at the very beginning, I implore you, press that like button. Get it out the way. If you are not subscribed at this exact moment and you watched to this point, you must have enjoyed something. So you may as well press the subscribe button and just get it out the way. Just get it out the way. And as I mentioned before, if you wish, you can support what I do on Patreon. If you enjoy these album reactions and you want access to exclusive reactions, then you can do that on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed listening to Curtis, the debut album by Curtis Mayfield. And I hope that I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.